We're live! Hello, my friends. Today is Tuesdays off for sewing, and we're gonna make some stretchy knit fall tops. So I'm wearing one of the patterns that I absolutely love. It is the True Bias Nikko, which is very, very versatile. You can make a turtleneck, you can make um, like a sleeveless or a sleeved version. You can also modify the neckline, leave off the turtleneck. It can be a dress or a shirt. You can kind of do whatever you want with this pattern. So I have a few different ones that I'm making today. I've got this very cool, I'm gonna turn the other camera on. You'll be able to see my sewing donut. Okay, so I've got this really beautiful ribbed knit that has this kind of irregular ribbing to it. So it's stretchy, it's fun. It's actually a lot more green than it's showing up in the camera. But on my face camera, it's actually showing the right color. So that's the color. It's green. And let's see, I've cut this out quite a while ago. So I'm just looking to see what version I decided to do on this particular one. And I've got, okay, it's definitely a shirt. Oh, this has a 3 on it. That's promising. Maybe in my pattern, it will, first of all, focus. Come on now. Focus right here. Oh, I see what's happening. Just a second. Let me turn off this stupid portrait thing. Also, maybe if I do that, it'll show the right color. So that's better. Okay, so number 3. Wait a second here. Okay, that's number 3. So we're doing a sleeved version, I guess with just regular sleeves for this fabric. Then, this one's exciting because I changed it. Don't mind the fact that it has dog and cat hair on it. Every day of my life. Camera, stop it. So for this one, I believe what I decided to do was make it with different sleeves. So this is gonna have like a bishop sleeve, which is the kind where it's really wide. I'm not doing this well on the camera. It's gonna be really wide and then come to a cuff, which is gonna be great. So these are the sleeves for that and the cuffs for that. Once again, it's green. Do you see a theme? Redheads, green? Yeah, that's the thing. And I'm just trying to figure out what I was planning on doing for the neckline of this one, because it kind of looks like I didn't cut much of a neckline. I guess it's just like a scoop neck. That's number 2. Get over there. Number 3 is like a scrappy, almost already finished one. It has a brighter pink body and then lavender sleeves. So I think I'm going to start by just finishing this one because it is already well underway. So what I've already done, I'll show you in the instructions. Okay, what I've already done on this one, which I don't see any neck binding or anything for, so I don't think I was going to do a turtleneck, but I've sewn up the shoulder seams. Those are right here. And then I have put the sleeves in. So skipping ahead, I've done this step. So nice and easy to see on here. And so the next step after that is going to be these side seams and then just hemming the sleeves and the bottom and then doing something about the neck. I'm going to have to make a decision about that. Okay. I've got my serger set up here today because we are working with knit fabrics, which are stretchy, and I like to sew those on my serger. I've also got my other sewing machine back there, and it's not the one that I have used on stream before. It is a sewing machine that does a lot of different stitches, so I can do a zigzag stitch, which is what you use when you are sewing knit fabrics. So I'm gonna switch over to the sewing screen. Okay, it was already on the sewing screen. I don't know what I'm doing. So our next step is the side, and the way we're gonna do that is we're just gonna match up the entire side. I'm actually gonna go over to the pressing table for this because it'll be easier to see. Meet you over there. Okay, sorry, Nula. I kicked my dog. Hello, friends. Oh, also there is a dog on the couch, so I'm turning on the pet cam. Look at that little guy. He's so cute. All right, so over here is going to be a little easier to see. I'm kind of turning the shirt so that it looks like an inside out shirt. And then basically it just doesn't have the sides sewn up or the sleeve sewn up along the side. So what I'm going to do is turn on my iron because I might need that later. Make sure it's not set too high. Awesome. Okay. I'm gonna match up first the armpit, which is really easy to see on this because I'm using two different fabrics. So we're matching that up right there, and I'm just gonna use pins because I've got them right here. And then I'm just gonna match all the way down the sleeve. And this conveniently has a little notch right there. I think you can see that maybe. That just shows basically where you have to match things up. So matching that up, I'm gonna put some pins with my adorable pin cushion. I'm gonna put one on the notch and I'm gonna put one at the end here. And then I'm gonna add a bunch of pins in between. Maybe not a bunch, maybe just a few. I think just one here will be good, and then maybe two here and here. And then I'm gonna match up the rest of the way down on that side. So, oops, we're kind of tangled up here. Okay, we're matching down this side. And once again, we've got a notch right here. And that tells me that this should match up with wherever the notch is on the back, which looks like it's right there. Pin. And putting some pins in between here as well. Stretchy fabrics can be both harder and easier to sew in different ways. So I think they're a little bit harder in that they tend to be a little bit more slippery. It's easier to kind of get them askew, but they're easier in that you don't have to fit as precisely as you do with not stretchy fabrics. And you can do most of it on the serger, which is really fast and really easy. And I love that. So, okay, I've got that one side seam pinned, and now I'm gonna flip around to the other side. So, again, I'm gonna start on the armpit right here, and then I'm just gonna work my way down the side and my way up that side. Once again, I'm matching up notches as I go, which are like the little reference points built into the sewing pattern that you then transfer to the fabric so that you know how and where to put things together. They are very essential, so don't skip marking your notches if you are a sewer, especially if you're a beginner. Okay. One of the annoying things that knit fabrics do is they will kind of curl. And so I don't know if that's what's happening right there, but I'm just gonna do a little adjust and and fix that right up. Okay. Just one more right here, I think, and then we're gonna do the sleeve. So just like we did on the other side, oops, I'm knocking pins out. We are just gonna lie that sleeve as though the shirt is inside out and then match up the elbow notch. Come here, pins. And then match up the rest of the top half of the sleeve, the bicep. I think just a couple of pins here will be fine. I've sewn this pattern so many times that it is like burned into my memory. It's absolutely one of my favorites because it's so adaptable and it tends to fit me quite well. Partially probably because it's just stretchy, so you don't have to be super precise. Okay, over to the sewing table we go. Sewing table. Well, my friends. Okay, this sewing machine, unlike my other sewing machine, does not have a little reminder on here for me to drink water. So if you're watching, please help me remember to drink water. All right, we are just gonna go basically from the end of the sleeve all the way down the sleeve, down the side to the bottom of the shirt. Pretty easy. And if you haven't seen a serger before, they're super cool. They have 4 threads up here. Let me see if I can make my camera look at that. There's 4 thread spools and there's no bobbin. So it's just these 4 threads on top creating like a crazy loopy-doopy stitch that looks like this. It's the stitch that you're going to see on most clothing that you buy from a store. And I'm just going to double check my seam allowance really fast. Seam allowance is the distance from the edge of the fabric to the place where you're sewing. So it's important to double check on that before you start because otherwise your shirt might not fit right. Let's see. Before you start, seam allowances are 3/8 of an inch. Okay. So on my serger, I think that's like about the edge right here. There is a blade on the serger that cuts at the same time that it sews. So it's pretty great. I'm dropping stuff. You'll see that in action soon though. Okay, we're started. So the camera isn't in the best spot to see this, but it's basically cutting off a tiny little strip of fabric and then binding that whole edge with that loopy stitch. I probably should have done a little test on my fabric before I started sewing with my serger, but I just got my machine serviced and I don't care. Let's see here. I just want to do one quick thing so I can make sure my audio is working and put the monitor on. There we go. Okay. Sounds like you can hear me. Great. Okay. So I'm just gonna, again, sew down this whole sleeve side and then once I get to the armpit, I will pivot and sew down the entire side of the skirt. Skirt? It's not a skirt. It's a shirt. It's a shirt. It's a trap. Okay, I'm getting to that armpit area and just gonna be careful not to get my fabrics askew. Because I'm doing these 2 different colors, I wanted to make sure that the transition is pretty lined up, even though hopefully nobody's going to be looking at my armpit to see if my fabrics line up right. So fingers crossed on that. All right. We are serging. So easy. The other thing I love about sewing stretchy fabric is that you don't have to do anything to finish the edge of the fabric like you would with a woven non-stretchy fabric, the kind that fray, because this fabric doesn't fray. Minimizing windows, sorry. Okay, we're good. Let's focus right here. There we go. The other thing with a serger is that it will leave this trail like that. Tail, not trail. Wow, I'm really struggling to speak today. My veterinarian is calling me, so I will be right back. I'm going to just answer that call really fast. And we're back. Sorry about that. My cat was getting dental surgery today, so my vet was just calling with a little update. She did fine, and I'm gonna pick her up at 5-ish. So back to sewing this shirt. So again, we're just gonna do the same thing we did on the other side. So we're gonna sew the sleeve up and then all the way down the side of the body. After that, I should be able to try the shirt on. So, by the way, here's all the fabric excess that was cut off on our last serge. So we're gonna get that going again here again too. Okay. Serger is just so fast and convenient. Okay. Making progress. So I'm probably gonna have to end stream at about 4:30 today so I can go pick up my kitty from her surgery. And that is in about 2.5 hours. So we got some time. We're gonna finish some shirts. It's gonna be great. Okay. Almost done with the sleeve. And then once again, I'm just being careful on this armpit area to make sure that the fabrics are lined up as they go. I think that was a success. So, I'm trying to think if there's anything I want to talk about besides this shirt that I'm working on. I have a very exciting new stream starting this Thursday evening. It's called Sewing After Dark. It's going to be very silly. And it's basically a sewing show where I have friends on and we sew together and get silly and talk about life. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you all tune in and join us in the ridiculosity. Almost done with this side seam here. Okay, as I was saying, okay, something got weird with this tail. I think it sucked up one of the cut pieces of fabric, so I'm just gonna try to get this wedged in there so it will. As I was saying earlier, sergers leave this tail. There's not usually a piece of fabric in there. It got funky. But yeah, I'm gonna cut that off. A lot of times you don't want to cut it off right next to the fabric because it can unravel your stitch. But I know that I'm gonna be hemming this later, so when I do that, I'll be turning it up at least once and that'll get sewn over, which is gonna secure the end of that. So we have a shirt. It's not very visible on the screen and it's currently inside out and it has no neck binding. So one thing we could do is measure around this neck hole and then basically cut a strip of fabric in one of these two colors and we would sew it on there as a neck binding. And that would look kind of, let me switch to my face. That would look kind of like the shoulder binding on this. I don't know if you can see, but stupid camera. It basically has a piece of fabric folded in half, sewn as like an edge piece onto there. Back to our sewing view. So this is basically done in terms of serging. So what I'm going to do today is do all of my serging steps and then switch to my other machine for the hemming and anything else I might have to do. I don't have the neck binding of this cut yet, so I might do that after I work on these two, or I might, we'll decide later. It doesn't really matter. Okay, I'm gonna set the purple shirt aside. I'm gonna get a sip of water and maybe a bite of my delicious gluten-free sewing donut. My veterinarian is really close to this amazing bakery, and so my perks every time I have to take the animals in is I get a donut. Mhm. Okay, I just muted myself for a second while I chewed my donut, so you all didn't have to listen to that. So we're gonna start at step one with these two. Step one on this pattern are the shoulder seams. So what I need to do is find the front and back bodice pieces in both of these, and then put them inside out, which is called right sides together. And then we're gonna just sew across those shoulders. Serge across the shoulders, rather. Because we're using a serger. Okay. Instructions go there. So that seems to be a bodice piece. You can tell because it has an armhole right there. This looks like the back, and I can tell that because the back neck is quite high. Oh, this is the front. Great, perfect. Again, there's our armhole, and then I've made this a scoop neck. And then all we have left in this fabric are those bishop sleeves and the two cuffs. So I'm gonna set those aside. I'm gonna do the same thing with this. So I'm gonna find our sleeve pieces, which have this kind of shape. There's a rounded top side that then kind of flares out on the sides like that. And I'm gonna put those aside. So starting with this fabric, I need to decide which side is the front or the back. So it's got kind of this texture on one side, and then this I think is the back because it's really flat. So I'm gonna take those two pieces, I'm gonna find these shoulders, and I'm gonna put them right sides together. So here are the shoulders of the back piece, and I'm gonna match those up with the shoulders of the front. And I'm gonna just put some pins in here. Maybe. There we go. Pins! There's one, and there's two. Great. One shoulder pinned. Where's my other shoulder? There's this one, and here's this one. It's a really tiny little seam to start with, so easy to lose track of. Okay. Here's pin number one. Ow. Poked myself. And one more pin, and then we can serge. Or maybe I'll pin the other shoulders of the other two. The other two shoulders, aka the other top. So that I can sew all four of the shoulder seams at the same time. Okay. Here's this. There is a lot of dog hair on here. So once again, I need to decide what the front and the back of this fabric are and whether there's a difference. And I think there is a subtle difference. I don't know that you're going to be able to tell on the camera. There's a really subtle difference in the look of the weave. And I think this is the back and this is the front. So honestly, though, it's probably a bit arbitrary with this particular fabric, kind of user choice. But I think I can see a difference. Can I see a difference? Yes, I can. Okay. That's gonna go like that. Oh, and I wrote a number 3 on the back of this one, which makes me think that that was meant to be the wrong side. So there we go. All right. Matching up those shoulder seams again. I'm gonna make sure that you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay. Pins! Pin it! Pin one. And pin number 2. Okay. One shoulder down, one to go. All right. We're matching that up. And I love this sewing pattern. Like I said, I'm wearing one of them right now. It is just so versatile. And then for this kind of like solid green jersey t-shirt fabric, what I did is I used part of an arm pattern from a different sewing pattern that had like really poofy sleeves that then have a cuff at the bottom, the bottom. And I basically just adapted it to fit this. Um, I used the top of the sleeve for the Nikko pattern so that it would fit well into this armhole, but then I changed the shape of the rest of the sleeve based on that other sewing pattern. So it's a really adaptable pattern. You can kind of make a lot of different stretchy long sleeve and sleeveless and short sleeve shirts with it. So it is fairly fitted, at least the way I like to make it. I like my shirts to be fairly fitted. So, all right, here we go. Sleeve number one, shoulder number one, rather, not sleeve. Later, it'll be attached to the sleeve. So I'm just using gray thread in my serger because it doesn't show on the outside and it's just kind of goes with everything. It's easy. And if I were using white serger thread and sewing something like this, it might actually show on the outside, or vice versa. If I was using a really dark serger thread color on a really light colored fabric, it might show through. So I like to do kind of like a medium gray because it's really obnoxious to rethread my serger all the time. And yeah, I'm too lazy for that. Gonna make sure this is sewing the way I want it to. What settings are we on? I'm gonna just make that a little bit smaller. There we go. Yeah, like that. So what I was just doing is changing the width of the serger stitch. So I like it to be a little bit more squished than that. So hopefully on this side it will be. And hopefully that won't affect the fit of the garment because it's not that different. And it's stretchy, so who cares? Okay. We're about to be able to see how that setting changed affected what it looks like. Again, I'm leaving those serger tails kind of long. So let's compare those two stitches and see how they look different. I don't know that they look that different. This one definitely looks more squished together this way. I don't know that it's particularly like less wide. What would be a good way to do this? Let's see. It's always fun trying to, okay, maybe it's a little bit less wide. It's a little hard to see on there, but it's not that much less wide. I wish it was a little bit skinnier, but who cares? All right, so I've done my shoulder seams on this one. Now I'm gonna do that same exact process on this fabric. And then we can attach the sleeves, which is very thrilling. So, okay. Again, what I'm working on for anyone who's just tuning in is this True Bias Nikko pattern. I'm just making a few fall shirts. I'm making just a regular long sleeved version. So it'll be these sleeves with this bodice. And I think I made it a scoop neck instead of a turtleneck. And then I am also working on one that has different colored sleeves from the body. So guess what we're doing? If we have time later, I'm gonna cut out another project, which I'm very excited about. But fingers crossed we have time before I have to go pick up my cat from the vet. Okay. So one thing I'm noticing a little bit with this fabric's really stretchy. And see how that made a little bit of like a curve situation, I think it's stretching things out a little bit too much. And this setting over here is how I'm going to change that. So the more down here this little dial is, the more the serger stretches while it sews. Maybe I could get a piece of fabric to show this on. I don't want to get up. Um, but then the more you push it this way, the more it will gather the fabric up. So it's set at supposedly neutral right now, but sometimes I find with extra stretchy fabrics or really like lightweight fabrics that I need to put it a little bit towards the gathering setting to make it not stretch things out. So let's see how that works on this other shoulder seam. Oh, there's pets. You guys, look at them. Let's just take a moment. Look at how cute they are. Get on the bed with him. Get on it. Yes. Oh, snuggle. Oh man. Kicked out. She's like, where you go? Okay, I'm gonna make that small now. You guys don't need to just get the play-by-play of my animals, even though I think that's probably more fun than sewing. But I don't know. Pets sewing, they're both amazing. This is my brand. Pets and sewing, and sometimes psychology. Okay. I'm gonna turn this back this way so you can see what I'm doing. Shoulder seam, take 2, and we're gonna see if we've corrected that little stretching out issue. With that setting over here that we changed. I do think that looks a little bit more straight. It'll be more obvious on the longer seams, but I do think that looks maybe a little bit better. I don't know. Okay. What's next? Okay, we have shown the shoulder seams. Now, I'm not doing a turtleneck on either of these, so we're skipping that step. And we're skipping these steps because that's also the turtleneck. And we're also skipping this because that's also the turtleneck. Okay, I'm doing sleeves. This is if you were making the tank top, like the one that I'm wearing, and it has these little sleeve binding situations. And instead, we are going to put the sleeve in. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to open it up. There's the neck hole. And then over here, this big U shape right here is the armhole. So what we want to do is we want to align the curve of the top of the sleeve piece. So the sleeve has, let's see if I can get it to, it has this nice curve, and we want to align that with that U shape. And they're going to be different shapes, so we're going to have to basically make it fit together, which is always an adventure. What we're going to look at is there are notches marked in the sleeve. So this is like the center notch, and then there are 2 little notches cut in the side of the sleeve that's going to go on the back of the shirt, and then 1 notch on the side that goes towards the front. So if I were to put these right sides together, this has the back this way, and then the shirt that I'm holding has the front this way. So this is the wrong sleeve for this side. We're going to need the other one. So now if I put these right sides together, the notch that's going this way is for the front because there's only 1 notch, and then the 2 notches are going towards the back. So we know we have the right sleeve now. We can start matching it up. So stage 1, I'm going to match up the shoulder seam that we just sewed with the center notch on the sleeve. I'm going to put a pin right there. Scottish mind games, what's up, my friend? I feel sure I'd have that inside out, upside down, and back to front all at the same time. You know what the best part of sewing is? Is that you can unstitch when you stitch it wrong. So, all of us are prone to having it inside out and backwards once in a while. It happens. But we're going to try to avoid that. And one of the great ways to help avoiding that is to look at the notches and remember to mark those when I cut it out. So I'm then going to mark the bottom of the sleeve here. Mark, match, I don't know what I just said. All right, now I'm going to match up the notch right there and put a pin. Oh man, I wish you guys could see my other dog. He's curled up on the really tiny bed. I'm gonna swivel the camera. I apologize. I'm gonna switch to my face so that you don't get swiveled. Now I'm gonna switch back to this camera. Let's see if you can see him. Oh, look at him. He is so perfect. Okay, now I gotta switch back. Oh boy. I just knocked my whole camera off of its tripod. Cute pins, thank you. I enjoy them. It's nice to have cute pins. I don't remember if you were here for this, but I have these really, really adorable like kitty pins that are for marking a spot. Okay, are you gonna stay this time? All right, let's see. I just need to not swivel this camera all over the place to show you guys animals, but it's really tempting. So yeah, sorry, not sorry. Let's see if we're back here. Oh, I think it worked. Okay. Aha. Problem solved. Crisis averted. Oh my gosh, but now he's being even more cute. The truth is, I need like 5 more cameras so that we can always be watching the pets. It is a precarious setup. I have this thing that attaches, it's supposed to like attach to a table, but my sewing machine shakes the table too much and then the camera shakes and it's really annoying. So I sort of just attached it to a tripod, which is not how it's supposed to work. But it works good enough and I'm, too busy to fix it. So if it's good enough for right now, it's just gonna be how it is. Oh, I wanted to show you the kitty pins. They're so cute. So, kitty pins. Look at those. I just can't with these. Oh my God. Like, I can't pick a favorite. I love the little calico and the little orange kitty. I know, I'm like freaking out about these. We can thank Japan for such things because I ordered this from a Japanese fabric company who I adore. Okay, kitty pins over there. Back to a shirt. All right, we were pinning the sleeve onto the sleeve hole. Okay. So I've now pinned the notch and the end. I love these little birdie pins too. I like the pins that have flat on the end. Let's see. Scottish Mind Game says, I still have pin trauma from when my sister and her friend went through a dressmaking phase. So many times stepped on a pin. Ooh. Oh God. That's terrible. I'm so sorry. I've never stepped on one. And part of that is because I have this little magnet thing, and whenever I drop a pin, I can like extend this and like search around on the floor for it. That would be truly terrible. I'm so sorry. There's also the other fabulous sewing adventure, which is clips. Adventure? I meant invention. Meh, 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 meh. Yeah. Count them out and count them in. It's true. You should take like pin roll call. But the truth is, I'm never going to do that. So let's just hope I don't step on pins. I do stab my fingers regularly though. So for my new show, Sewing After Dark, that I'm gonna do with friends on Thursday evenings, my time zone. So I don't know what that is for other people. But we're gonna make like a some sort of game involving like regular sewing experiences, like poking yourself with a pin, having to seam rip a stitch out because you messed up, running out of thread, all that kind of stuff. I don't know what kind of game it's gonna be yet, but it's gonna be funny, I think. Like sewing, I don't know, bingo's boring. I feel like it has to have higher stakes than bingo. We'll see. If you have any game ideas, let me know. Okay. So in between the notch and the center, there is going to be a difference in shape. So you'll see the actual body part of the sleeve, the shoulder, I should say, is much straighter, and then the sleeve is rounder. So basically, what we're going to do is kind of just make it work. Just make those fabrics behave. Because it's stretchy, that does make it a little bit easier. So I'm kind of just lining them up and making them stay. I also want to make sure that I'm not getting a bunch of excess fabric on one side and not the other. I think that looks like a good spot right around the middle. And then I'm going to just line up on either side of that. I'm going to use a couple more pins on this area just because it's a little more finicky. So there's one. And here's two. Okay, we got half of the sleeve pinned. Ta-da! Now we do the other side. So we match up the end and we match up the notches. Here's one end. Let's put a pin. Let's put a pin in it. Forget I said that. Okay. Here's the notch. Okay. So to see the notches, I kind of just pull the fabric out to the side. Now I'm gonna put another pin in there. Boop. And I'm gonna make sure that my serger tail from earlier is out so that I don't sew it into the seam so it like pokes out like some weird insect. Nobody needs that. And then once again, this is the part where it's kind of weird to match it up. So I'm just gonna kind of find the middle. One thing you can do is you can pull them both out to the side like that and find the center. So I'm gonna put a pin on the center on that side. Then I'm gonna pull this side out. Put a pin right there. There we go. Now I'm just gonna pull it back to the direction I want it to be in and match up where those pins are. So like that. And then I'll just put one through and take the other one out. So that's kind of matched up the center of that area. And I'm just going to put one pin on either side of that. Force it to work. And then the other side. There we go. Okay. A fully pinned sleeve looks really crazy. Here's it from the other side. This is one of those trust the process moments. So I like to put the sleeve part down because it's flatter. And then all of this extra fabric on top, I'm just gonna maneuver out of the way to make sure it doesn't get sewn accidentally into the sleeve. Which would be extra disastrous on the serger because the serger cuts while I sew. And we don't want to chop something we don't mean to chop. Let's see if we can get a little closer here for this one. Okay, time to sew a sleeve. Let's go. All right. It's finicky. You know, I'm gonna add another pin right here because it's gonna be finicky on the serger. And I'm gonna add one on this side as well. Okay. Am I bleeding? I'm not bleeding. Okay. Everything's fine. I just stabbed myself on accident with a pin. All right. I was teaching a private lesson the other day, and I stabbed myself so bad on one of my students' pins that I was definitely bleeding. And she was working on a white sewing project. And so I was like, I can no longer touch your project because I will be bleeding on it, and nobody needs that. All right, we're getting started here. Another trick with sewing stretchy fabrics, I almost just called them sketchy fabrics. Some people think they're sketchy. Another trick is to not pull your fabric back or forward too much, unless you are doing that on purpose, because that can distort it. So I'm kind of just trying to let the serger pull it through. And I'm just adjusting the fabric as I go. All right. Going around the curve. This is the fun part. Sometimes you'll find that your top fabric is, or your bottom fabric is a little bit shorter or longer. And so you'll have to pull the other layer to stretch to match the distance. Oof, I almost just put a pin through my serger blade. That would have been, oof. Good thing I pulled it out fast enough. I don't know that it would have done anything, but it might have messed up the blade, which I don't really want to do because I just got all my machines worked on and fixed up. They had their yearly doctor's appointment, so they don't need any shenanigans. I'm gonna make my little pet cam slightly smaller. No, not that. I want the whole thing. Yeah. Like, she's so cute, but I don't want her to be in the way. There we go. That's better. Okay, back to the sleeve. Other doggy is still on the tiny bed over on this side of the studio. And I will not be tempted to swivel my camera around again and make it fall off the tripod, even though the dog is so cute. He's so precious. All right, we've got a sleeve. It's a little ripply. Not too bad, actually. I thought it was worse than it is. Okay. I'm just inspecting my stitch a little bit. Let's just turn it to the outside. Oh, look at that. It's a sleeve. Yay. Okay. Only 3 more sleeves to go. That's thrilling. Okay, let's do the other side. Here's our other side. So I'm gonna put the right side of this fabric up, and I'm going to grab my sleeve, find the curved side, this side, and we're gonna put it face down on top of here. Bouncy, bouncy camera. Now we're going to line the center notch up with the shoulder seam. And I'm just verifying that it's in the right orientation. We got our 2 notches over here. and our 2 notches on the sleeve right there. So both of those are towards the back of the shirt. That is how it's supposed to go. So now we match this up with this top seam. I just got this super cute like squirrel and strawberry gigantic mouse pad. I'm kind of obsessed with it. And I love that it's just the background on my table now. Okay. And it's also from an independent artist, which I love supporting artists because I'm also an artist. Aren't the squirrels so cute? Yeah. Squirrels and strawberries, like, you can't go wrong. Unless it's in real life, then it's very obnoxious. I have a big strawberry patch, and the squirrels, if I let them have access to it, would absolutely decimate the entire thing. It doesn't look much different than this, actually, which, cute in concept, but I want the strawberries for myself. I'm a greedy strawberry grower. Same thing with my peach tree. Nobody touches that. Okay. We've got the end, the notch, and the center notch all lined up. I'm gonna put another pin in between these two because I did that last time and it was helpful. Ow. And now I'm gonna line up this center to center. I think that looks about right. I'm just eyeballing it this time. I think the back, this is the front side right here. I think the back is a little bit more challenging to eyeball because there's a little bit more dramatic of a curve on this particular sleeve. Okay, one more. Okay, to the other side. So I'm matching up the end. And I am matching up the notches. I'm gonna match between the end and the notches and put a pin there. I always like to have my pins perpendicular to where I'm gonna be sewing so that I can get nice and close to them before pulling them out. If I put them the other way, it would be really terrible. You'd be like crashing into it, either into the pointy side or into the head, which makes it really hard to take the pin out. Or you have to take the pin out way sooner, and then it's not as accurate. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that actually kind of worked like perfectly the first time. Okay, pin. One more here, and then one on the other side, and then we sew. All right, now this side. Okay, we have got the entire sleeve head pinned. This is called the sleeve head. By the way, sergers are also called overlockers. Probably other things as well, but kind of depends on the region you're in. So here they're called sergers for the most part. My British coworker calls it an overlocker. So yeah, it's region dependent, but it's the same thing, the same machine. So once again, I'm going to put the sleeve down because it's more flat and there's less crazy fabric everywhere. And I am just going to take it nice and slow and rearrange my fabric as I go. Already rearranging. Oh, stretchy fabric. Why you sometimes be so finicky? Okay. You've heard overlocker here. Yeah. Yeah. Serger, overlocker, same, but I feel like overlocker is actually more common. We Americans just have to be the Freaks of the world. Sorry, world. Um, Pretty big on talking shit about America right now. Okay. Uh-oh. First of all, my camera wasn't in the right spot. Also, if it would focus right here. Maybe if I cover the light up. Oh, just turn it off. Um, my serger tail just got like jammed up in here. I don't know why or how, so I'm just gonna trim it off. Oh, it looks like it got like sewn to its own stitch. That's okay. It's not gonna affect anything. One of the things I like to tell my sewing students a lot is that perfectionism is just, it's got to be out the door with sewing. And that goes against what so many people have learned about sewing, that it needs to be so precise and perfect. Otherwise, it's like not going to fit right, or it's just so bad. But the truth is, it's a pretty forgiving thing. You have a seam allowance, extra fabric along the edge. So if you mess it up a little bit, it's not the end of the world. And you can always take your stitches out with your handy dandy seam ripper. So perfectionism, overrated and boring. That's also just my attitude about life, though. Scottish Mind Game says, can't make perfectly sized clothes for imperfectly sized humans. It's true. And also, none of us are like a standard size. Usually we're like a different size here and a different size at the waist and the hips. So, the standard charts that are used for store-bought clothing, um, are kind of not made to fit people. They're made to fit like numbers. So, yeah, you're saying we're also not symmetrical. It's so true. I have scoliosis, and so my waist on one side is actually higher than the other side. So it's a whole situation, and sewing is actually really great for that kind of body positivity of let me make something that fits my body and not just like a set of numbers that are supposed to be normal. Because I'm sure as heck not normal in multiple ways. Okay. Trimming the serger tail. Let's see how that sleeve looks. There it is. This stuff over here is just where, oh, that just stuck to it. Right here is where I accidentally sewed my serger tail into my stitch. So I'm just gonna trim that off. Because it's not actually part of the stitch. Just some weird stuff that got caught in there. Okay. Haha! Sleeve number 2. Looks good. There it is. Pretty cool. All right. One shirt down with sleeves. Let's do this one. I don't know where that came from. Actually, I do. It came from right here. Need lip balm. It's really dry here in Colorado. Sometimes it gets a little bit humid, but for the vast majority of the time, it's quite a dry place. Okay, I'm gonna back this off again a little bit. So, this is the one with the poofy sleeves, but the top of the sleeve part will be exactly the same as what we just did on the other one. So I'm just gonna put that, let's actually do the top side first. Okay, so I need the sleeves. Those are the cuffs. These are the sleeves. I need the sleeve that has the front this way and the back that way. When I put it right sides together. I think it's this one. I just gotta make sure what is the right side and the wrong side. It is so hard to tell on this fabric. I think this is the right side. Okay. If it's wrong, literally nobody's gonna notice besides me. So this is the way I'm gonna do it. All right. Again, we are starting at the shoulder seam, aligning that with the center notch. I'm learning how to design sewing patterns right now, and I'm working on a sleeve that I keep having to redo over and over again. So I'm like fed up with sleeve notches right now. I don't want to do any more sleeve notches, but they're very helpful. So do your sleeve notches. Putting a pin in the end, and now I'm going to put a pin in that notch. I like to cut my notches into the fabric. Other people will mark them on with a marking tool, like some tailor's chalk, or even like a ballpoint pen or a pencil. I like to chop them, but you don't want to chop too deep is the only trick with cutting them with scissors. Because if you cut deeper than your seam allowance, then you're gonna have a hole. You don't need that. I'm gonna put one pin in between there. And then I'm gonna do this top part where it's all weird. Just gonna find kind of the middle-ish. Line that up. Put a pin in. And pin in between the center of this and the top. I am stabbing myself so much today. It's more than usual. Usually I stab myself, but not this much. It's not bleeding though. Okay, call it good. All right. One half of the sleeve pinned. Let's do the other half. I feel like I've jinxed you, says Scottish Mind Games. You haven't, don't worry. I have days where I just accidentally stab myself all the time with pins. Maybe it is because you said it though. Maybe I like subconsciously now I'm like, oh, it's a stabby day. Not a stabby day. No stabby. Okay, I'm gonna line up those notches. Like so. This is the back, because it's got two notches. I bet I'm actually stabbing myself more than usual because I had to get up really early to take my cat in for her dental surgery today. And I'm not really a morning person, so that was disruptive. But she got through the surgery just fine, and I'll go pick her up after I'm done streaming. I should actually set an alarm. Set an alarm for 4:30. Okay, now I'll remember to pick my cat up from the vet. Don't want to forget her. But I have ADHD, so I feel like I would, without that alarm set, just be sewing and sewing, and it would be like 6 p.m. and then I'd see a voicemail from the vet that was like, your cat's still here. And then I would feel like a terrible, terrible pet mom. You know, some days be like that. But we set alarms on the watch to try to prevent such things from occurring. Okay, we've got the whole sleeve pinned. I'm gonna go back up here. La la la. This light is not making it super visible up here. Ow! I literally just grabbed a pin. Yeah. All right. Sewing a sleeve. Let's go. Serging. I should say serging a sleeve. I think this fabric is a little easier to sew than this one. At least that's how it's feeling to me. It doesn't want to like distort itself all over the place quite as much. Okay, I'm just gonna press the sleeve, the shoulder seam towards me. Focus. Focus. I probably do need to figure out a better camera setup, but right now the tripod is just so convenient. Very movable. What I should get is one of those tripods that like has an extendy part instead of trying to attach an extended part onto the tripod that isn't supposed to attach to the tripod. But you know, you just gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. All right, we have sewn a sleeve. Look at that. Look at that sleeve. That's so beautiful. Okay. This is going to be a much wider sleeve down here. We've got a lot of extra fabric so that it's going to gather in all fun and have a cuff at the end. Okay. Other sleeve. It's taking shape. It is taking shape. Yay! So excited to have new fall shirts that are like really breathable, yummy cotton or bamboo knits and gonna be comfy. There we go. Okay, so on this side, the back is this way. I've got my double notches on my sleeve over there and my single notch on this way, on this side. Get on there. Okay, let's start by matching up the top. And I'm gonna just do the same thing. Match up the notches, match up the end, match up everything in between. Ozo, are you scared of the vacuum? I have a robot vacuum upstairs and my little corgi man is not into it. But I can't really live without it because there's a lot of dog and cat hair in this house and I'm not going to spend my life vacuuming. So we got a robot. We actually have several robots. It's a bit of a situation. They're all named after the Knights of the Round Table, but the one upstairs, it also mops at the same time. Oh my God, I'm so in my 30s. I'm obsessed with my vacuums. And I name them. Okay, so the one upstairs that's mopping, that's King Arthur because he He mops and vacuums at the same time. There is a Galahad. Galahad is like he's got like the four-wheel drive of robot vacuums. He can like get over any bump in the floor. The first robot vacuum I ever got, I named Lancelot. And it was shortly after a breakup, and I was feeling really sassy about it, so I named Lancelot Lancelot because he was my knight in shining armor who was much more useful than the person I had just broken up with. Yeah, that's how it all started. But now I'm married, and my husband is very much in on the naming the vacuums after the Knights of the Round Table thing. So, you know. Okay. So I've gotten the notches, the end, the pin in between. I've already done that half. It's getting a little faster now that I'm on the fourth go through. Fourth, oh my God, I can't speak today. Fourth go through. Fourth go through. So fun. Okay. That looks decently in the middle. Boop. Nula, no barks. Couch dog is barking. Why are we barking? Yes, the Morgana. So it's a different mythic figure, but the Morrigan in Irish mythology is often confused and overlaps with the Morgana, um, is who I did my PhD research on. So, same! But all the vacuums are named after men because they need to do the work. We just get to make the magic over here, okay? That was very sexist of me, but I don't really care. We do enough work. They can vacuum. Because men really suck. Am I right? Says Scottish Mind Games. I agree. The vast majority of men are lacking. They need to grow up, is the truth of it. Yeah. Somehow we live in a culture that doesn't encourage men to gain maturity in the same way it encourages women. Maybe it's because we experience, no, because men also experience suffering. I think of suffering as something that forces us to grow. I don't know. I think it's probably related to the way that men are encouraged not to pay attention to their emotions or show them. And that creates a lack of maturity because the more we learn how to be with our feelings and navigate the world of emotions, the more we can grow up. So, kudos to all the men who are not afraid of their emotions. And courage to the ones who are working on it, because good job. Okay. What becomes of the hunter-gatherer when there's no more hunter-gathering to do? Asks Scottish Mind Games. Yeah, that's a good question. My husband, when he was in law school, always used to joke. He would go to like events and stuff where there were free food, catering and stuff. And he would always take the leftovers. And so he referred to that as his gathering, his hunting gathering instincts. It's really funny. Ah, we has sleeve. All right, let's See how that looks from the outside. There's the shoulder seam. It's looking good. There is so much just like lint and hair on this fabric. I must have cut these out like last year and never sewed them. So this stream is awesome. It's making me be accountable with all the projects that I've cut out and then forgotten to sew. I'm gonna turn off our pet cam because they've sadly vacated. All right, let's look at our instructions. All right, I believe now we're on that step that we already did on the purple shirt where we're gonna match up the edge of the sleeve and the side of the side seam of the shirt, and we're gonna sew that entire stretch. After that, we're gonna do the sleeve cuffs on this. We're gonna hem the sleeves of the other ones. So we'll just fold it in and do a zigzag stitch. And we're also gonna hem the bottom edge. This is for the dress version. Then we need to decide what to do about these neck openings. So I'm gonna see if I have enough fabric to make like a neck binding. If not, I might just have to fold it in and hem it. But a neck binding would be so much nicer and also easier to sew. So to make that, what I will do if I have enough, extra fabric is I'll measure the whole circumference of the neck hole. And then I will subtract like an inch. Because the fabric's stretchy, we want the neck binding to be slightly smaller than the, wow, I have the hiccups, than the actual neck hole because it will lie more flat that way. So if it is the same size or bigger, it might sort of like stick out in a funny way. We don't want that to happen. So in the meantime, let's do our side seams. So I think I'm gonna go over to the pressing cam again. And I'm just gonna do a little bit of pressing and also I'll pin over there so that it's easier to see. Oh, I'm coming. I can also turn off, whatever, I'll leave it on. Okay. Hi, dogs. Oh my gosh, they're coming. Look at them. You can't really see them, but they're right here. All right, we've got 3 projects right here. We've got some pins. We've got a hot iron. We're gonna do some stuff. So I haven't pressed like any of my seams, which I do a little bit less of, honestly, when I'm sewing stretchy fabrics. But I am just gonna give the shoulder seams a little quick press. If I can get in here. Ugh, my iron is getting caught. Okay. Here's that side. And now we'll do the other side. It is getting stuck more. There we go. So this turquoise tube, I think I probably have explained this before, but it goes up to like a big water tank that I have on like an IV stand, basically. And it feeds water into my iron, so I don't have to fill it up with water all the time, which is really convenient. I'm going to use my tailor's ham here to press the sleeve seam so that it lies really nicely. And this ham just makes it easier to press things that are on a curve. I find that the stretchy fabric also doesn't really stay as well when I iron it, but we're also ironing it to set the seam and give it at least an idea of how it's supposed to behave. I'm pushing the seam allowance towards the sleeve right now. Oh my God, my iron keeps getting stuck. All right, one sleeve has been pressed. And we'll go to the other side. And same thing. Pressing that seam allowance towards the sleeve. And I'm using the shape of this tailor's ham to be able to kind of deal with the shape of the sleeve hole. Oh, there we go. No, keeps getting folded over at the bottom. There we go, that's better. Other side. Oh, the corgi's back on the couch, like a cute little guy. Such a long boy. Okay, we've pressed this one. I'm gonna toss it back over here and go to the next one. So I'm gonna do the shoulder seam at the same time that I do the sleeve on this, just to expedite, because I didn't think of it the first time. There we go. This fabric does not want to stay where I put it. But we don't put up with that attitude. There we go. Nice. One side down on this one. Now let's do the other. And then we're gonna pin our side seams. Ooh, hot steam. This iron has been a game changer. The gravity-fed water iron. I used to have to just constantly, I would keep like a funnel and a water bottle next to my ironing station and just constantly have to fill up my iron with water, and it was very obnoxious. This one is so easy. It's also quite a bit heavier than my old iron, so you can actually really use like the weight of the iron to help with the pressing, which is fun. Okay, I'm just gonna go right into pinning the side seams. So I'm gonna grab it by the shoulders. I'm gonna shake it out, make it lie down like a shirt. Then I'm gonna go and match up the armpit. And I think I had both of those seam allowances pointing towards the sleeve. So I'm gonna keep them like that. And pin. Being temperamental, there we go. And I'm just gonna match up the sleeve all the way down. Start at the bottom. And then I'm gonna go somewhere in the middle. Usually there's an elbow notch. There it is. Right there. I wonder if I was low on fabric because I don't know if this looks like a full sleeve. Maybe it's like a 3/4 sleeve. I don't recall. Who cares? Sometimes 3/4 sleeves are annoying though. Hi, Ozo. You scared of the vacuum? Come here. It's okay. King Arthur scaring the dogs. So rude. Okay, we've got that sleeve pinned, and I am going to now pin from the armpit down. So the whole side seam of the shirt. There's that. Now there should be a notch somewhere around here, maybe? Looks like I only notched one side and not the other. Oof. Don't forget your notches, people. Luckily, this has a pretty distinct shape that's easy to match up here, so it's not a big deal, really. Just trying to get the fabric to lie nice and flat and behave itself for me. I think this got a little scrunched up when I pinned it. All right. Behave. That's better. Pat, pat, pat. And I'm going to go in the middle. I do this a lot where I will do like the ends and then halfway and then halfway again. And then if I feel like I need it, I'll go in between as well. I don't know that I need it right there, but time will tell. On this part, it kind of feels like one is slightly longer than the other. Oh, little dog. What you doing? You getting scared at a vacuum? Oh boy. Oh, oh, I know. Oh, he wants to say hi. Yeah, don't touch the iron, it's really hot. Good boy. Let's go on to couch. Go on to couch. Nope, okay. Poor little guy. I should probably schedule the iron to not the iron. I should probably schedule the vacuum to not vacuum while I'm streaming, so the dogs are not bothered, but oops. You live and you learn. Okay, we've done side seams. I'm gonna check chat because I see things. Oh, Groovy Pants, thank you. I made these recently. Oh, no free feet. There we go. They're very fun pants. Let me turn my face camera on. I'll show you. I'll show you my pants. Face. There it is. We gotta make it not center stage. Look how fun they are. And this pants pattern, I really don't like the way the pockets are. So I basically just like put a butt pocket on the side as a pocket. Anyways, those are the pants. I shall now go back to the person. Oh, hi dogs. Very underfoot. Okay, we've done one side seam. We gotta do the other. And then we gotta do the side seams on the other one. And get the ham out of the way. The pants pattern is Persephone Pants. I think Anna Allen is the designer. They're fabulous pants. They're kind of like a barrel leg, wide-legged pant, high-waisted. I lowered the rise on the waist just a little bit because they're very high-waisted. But the nice thing about sewing is you get to modify, as we already talked about. You get to make things fit your body the way you want to. Okay, I'm doing the sleeve. I just pinned the armpit. Now I'm going to pin the end of the sleeve. Then I'm going to pin the middle, and then I'm going to go in between. The reason I like to quarter it off like that is if you have one side that's longer than the other, it will distribute the lack of evenness and make it a little bit easier to sort of ease that difference together when you're sewing. That looks good enough. Okay, that serger thread got crazy long. Now we do the side seam of the body. Then we go and we sew. The corgi is now trying to dig the carpet. Dogs are so funny. Maybe what I need is to just like attach a GoPro to one of the dogs or to both of them, and then they can just watch each other. And then my whole stream will just be pet cams. It's perfect. But like the sewing would be the pet cam. Like they would be switched. I'm just looking at chat. The pattern has something of Charles Rennie Mackintosh style about it. Thank you. Fabulousness. Yeah, I love the like big graphic prints. This is a Japanese canvas that I made this out of. Okay, for some reason, I have a lot of extra fabric up here. How did that occur? Because my notches are actually matching up nicely right there. I wonder if I just cut this unevenly. That didn't seem to happen. Let's see if that happened on the other side. Dogs, we're not going to fight down here. If you guys want to fight, you can go upstairs. There you go. Good dogs. By fight, I mean they just wrestle a lot, but they get really crazy about it. They're like super intense. So my guess with what happened here is that I was running low on fabric, so I cut one and then I didn't have enough fabric to make the other one that length, which doesn't really matter because I wear a lot of high-waisted pants and tuck in my shirts anyway. So I'm just going to pin these so that they're even here, and then I'll cut that off. That looks good. I am gonna redo the other side here just to make sure it's not getting weird. Dogs. Well, if you hear weird dog grunting in the background, I apologize. They, I promise, are just playing with each other. Okay, so I don't know if you remember, but I made a comment about how I didn't mark a notch on one side. I was just looking on the wrong place. I did mark the notch. I just cut them at different lengths. There it is. I don't know if you can hear the dogs grunting, but they're being really ridiculous. Hey, you guys, can you stop? They're not listening to me. If they get really excessive. Okay, you guys. Sorry for the loud noises. I might have to kick them upstairs. Give me just a moment. I'm going to mute myself and put the dogs upstairs. Okay, we're back. The cat has entered the room. The dogs are upstairs doing their crazy dog wrestling. And this is looking a lot more even. And you can see exactly where I ran out of fabric when I was cutting this out. So I'm just gonna come in here with some scissors and cut that extra off. I am gonna make sure it's not being tugged in any odd direction. by the weight of the fabric. I want it to lie really nicely flat. So I don't cut too much off. Okay, looks pretty good. Sometimes I buy like remnant leftovers of knit fabrics and try to squeeze shirts out of them that I don't really have enough fabric for. And this kind of thing happens all the time. Ooh, but maybe I could use this for like a neck hole. We'll see if it's enough. Okay. I am gonna toss this over to the sewing machine and I'm gonna pin the side seams of the other shirt. Then I'm gonna sew them. The dogs are back. Hi, Nula. You guys just can't stay away, can you? Now they're both just right under the ironing board. Little disruptive monsters. Oh, did you bring your ball down? Good girl. Okay, get my scissors out of the way. So remember, this one has those much wider sleeves, and now you can really see they're gonna have this kind of like bell shape at the bottom, but then that's gonna get gathered in. So it'll be nice and puffy. Oh boy, the squeaker ball. Oh, so we're not gonna squeak. I'm sorry. So sad. I hate having to take away their toys. But we're not gonna play squeaker ball while I'm streaming. I mean, it is really cute, but it's also quite loud. Okay, so same thing here. I am pinning the end of the sleeve. I've never done this sleeve on this pattern before, so we're about to find out if it works. I'm excited. Like I said, I kind of just Frankensteined two different patterns together to make the bell sleeve or the bishop sleeve. Bishop sleeve is the one that goes wide and then comes to a cuff. The bell sleeve would just be wide at the bottom. Hopefully I won't run out of pins. Okay, we've got the sleeve. Now we're gonna do the side of the body. Good doggies. Now we're being more calm. Okay, do we have a notch? We have a notch. Do we have another notch? Maybe? Notch, notch, where are you? I don't see it. Alas. I'm just gonna go down from the armpit this time because I don't trust myself anymore. No, actually, these look like they're about the same length. Okay. Just kidding, I trust myself again. Okay, I'm gonna put a pin kind of in the middle and near the notch, which is a notch at basically like the waist level. And then it'll come out here to sort of extend around the hips. Close enough. I think I'm gonna put 2 pins here. One more. Okay, I have 5 pins left on here. Oh no. I'm gonna pin like the sleeve of this side probably, and then I'll just have to pin the body when I'm over at the sewing machine, which is totally fine. Armpit pin. Sounds terrible. Nobody needs an armpit pin, except for this shirt. We got a pin at the end. Are the dogs getting sassy again? Okay, one more pin. Then we go sew. Sewing time! Yay! Hello. I have to move my chair back because I got it out of the way. If you need a couple more pins, Scottish Mind Game says, I might have one or two still stuck in my foot. That's terrible. Your sisters. This is abuse. Okay. These are my cuffs, so I'm going to put those aside. And we'll bring over shirt number 1. First, I'm going to have a bite of my sewing donut. I'm going to mute myself so you don't have to hear me munching. That's a really good donut. I think it was like walnut something, but it's got like metallic sprinkles and stuff on it. It's really good. Anyway. Okay. Let's sew. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for my Sewing After Dark stream on Thursday. My friend Kirsten, who is my coworker at the sewing shop, and she's also an accounting professor, is going to be my guest. We're going to have so much fun. Kirsten is sassy and fabulous and ridiculous, and it's going to be a grand old time. I'm all about the yum nuts. Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right, let's sew a side seam. So much less finicky than the sleeve. I can't tell if it picks up the audio when I'm sewing at the same time. Trying to like talk between the serger sounds. Okay, here's that armpit spot. Just making sure I got through all the layers here. Maybe I should have a donut every sewing stream. It could be a tradition. I think that might need to happen. Yeah. That's a slippery slope. Yeah, except the bakery, first of all, I'm gluten-free, so it's hard to find a good donut, and the bakery that makes the really good donuts is kind of far from my house. So the likelihood of me getting them all the time is quite low. Also, the likelihood of me bothering to get them every single Tuesday is very, very low. But a girl can dream, you know? Our side seam, it's sewn. Looks real good. Look at that. It's a side seam. Okay, let's do the other side. After this, I can try them all on, and then we can decide what to do about the neck. And we can also decide if I want to cut out my other project before I have to go pick up my cat from the vet. Don't bark at me, Nula. He's still barking at me. Let's see if you can see her. You can see her tail. She's standing there just staring at me and occasionally barking. That was a loud bark. I'm gonna go get the squirt bottle if you do that again. Okay. That was another really loud bark. Nula, where are you? She's right behind me. She's like right here. Why are you barking? Do you want to get stuck upstairs? Because if you keep doing that, that's what's gonna happen. Okay. Back to sewing. Sometimes my dog really doesn't like it if I pay attention to anybody besides her. Yeah, she's in that mode right now. I'm gonna mute myself again and put her upstairs because apparently it's an interrupting dog day. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. The big dog is upstairs and the corgi is downstairs. Maybe they will now leave me to my sewing in peace. Who knows, though? Okay. We're surgeon asleep. I hope these fit. Sometimes different types of fabrics can make the same pattern fit really differently. God, my dog is barking upstairs. She's really displeased that I am leaving her out right now, but there are consequences if you bark during my stream. Those consequences are you don't get to be here. Okay, I don't know what my serger's doing. Like, there's a couple of weird little blips, but I'm not really worried about it. Seems fine. Okay. There are consequences to barking in my stream. I'll bear that in mind, says Scottish Mind Games. No barking. Sewing. I mean, sewing's... I don't know why I said sewing. Barking. Consequences. ADD brain is on point today. Yeah. There might be a thunderstorm. I'm gonna check the weather and see if that's why she's barking. Oh, there is a thunderstorm. She's scared of thunder. I'm gonna be right back and make sure she's okay. I'm sorry. Okay, we're back. I want to show you the situation. We've got the thunder jacket on. My poor girl. She's scared. It's okay. You're gonna be fine. It's okay. We can't hear the thunder down here. Okay. I'm also gonna noise canceling. That is precious. She's so cute. Even when she's barking her poor little face off. She's a precious girl. With her thunder jacket. All right, you guys. I gotta sew. You can curl up under the table. Maybe if I put a dog bed under the table. Just a second. Okay, so we're gonna put this under the table and see if anybody just, oh, I just bumped one of them. Okay, come down here. There you go. You can lie down there. Just don't lie on the presser foot. There we go. Okay. Sorry for all the animal interruptions today and my lack of ability to speak coherently. Okay, Nula, you gotta scoot in a little more. My poor girl. Okay, back to our shirt. Oh, we sewed both of the side seams. Okay, Nuli. Okay. Go to the couch. Animal interruptions constantly today. Poor babies. Here, I'm gonna pull your bed out. It's nice and cozy. There you go. Okay. We're all good. The thunder situation is under control. We're back to sewing. Side seams of our second shirt. Let's go. She's so cute in her thunder jacket. At one point, I also tried putting this like thunder muff like over her ears to stop her from being able to hear the thunder. It was, I'm gonna try to find a picture. It was so funny. I hope I favorited it. I know this is not very exciting. I'm just looking through my phone. If I can't find the thunder dog picture soon, I will abandon the search. But it's so funny. Everyone thinks their own dog is the funniest, of course. It's like with kids. But my dog in her thunder outfit is actually the funniest. Okay. Look at how ridiculous that is. Her little thunder muffs. Oh my gosh. Here's the other really funny picture. Nula. Hey, girl. Okay, enough with dogs. Now we sew. Side seam. Sleeve. It's okay, Newly. All right. Did it work? It kind of works. So the ear muff thing on her head, the problem is when she shakes, which she will because she doesn't like how it feels, it gets all askew and then she can still hear the thunder, unfortunately. I really want to make her like a padded sound room, like her thunder room, so that she can just retreat into there when the thunder's scary. Kind of like a sound recording room or something that has like a bunch of soundproofing. But someday, hopefully someday soon. Poor baby. All right, we're through the armpit on the homeward stretch with these shirts. Homeward stretch? Home stretch? I don't know. My mom is like the queen of weird little expressions and sayings, but in my head, they get all garbled. So I usually say like part of one with another one. It never really works out, but it's kind of funny. She also will only swear in a British accent because one of her best friends is from England. And for some reason, my mom thinks that that swearing is different from swearing in her regular accent. I don't really get it. Okay. We sewed another side seam. There's our nice wide sleeve. The global champions of cussing. It's true. I know. It really is superior than American cussing. But it's funny that my American mother thinks that swearing in American is oh so terrible. But she'll do it in a funny fake British accent. Who knows? I mean, objectively, it's superior. I agree. Cussing in American is kind of eh, doesn't really pack as much of a punch. I could be wrong about that. Prove me wrong, people. I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna pin the rest of that side seam now that I have all of my pins liberated. And I didn't have to use any from Scottish Mind Games feet, which, you know, kind of sad really about that. I feel that was probably just as well for both of us. It's true. Yeah, you don't need any pins in your feet, and I don't really need to be using them. Feet pins. Just not good. Not good. Nobody needs feet pins. This got weird. My pins fell. Not the pins. Okay. Pinned. Now let's sew it. My little scrap bin is getting quite full. Okay, so after this, I think I'm gonna do the cuffs and put those onto the sleeves, and then I'm gonna do a little try on of all three of these shirts. So exciting. After that, I'm gonna decide what to do about the neck hole finishing. Okay, we're at the armpit, so I'm just arranging those seam allowances a little bit so that they will behave. Side seam. Ta-da! It looks like a shirt. So exciting. Okay, let's do the cuffs. So these have like I'm gonna turn my camera down a little bit so you can see. They have this little shape. No shaky, no shakes. There we go. And we're gonna sew them in half like this so that the little shape is still there. And then we'll fold them in half so that there's a smaller part on one end and then the wider part. And that's where it's going to attach to the sleeve. All right, determining the wrong side and the right side with this fabric again. Impossible. Okay, that's the wrong side. It's not fully impossible. It's just slightly obnoxious. Okay. I'm going to pin both of them and then sew both of them. Pins. Not feet pins. Still on the feet pins over here for some reason. Let's blame ADHD. I think that there also needs to be like a game show buzzer or something for how many times I blame things on ADHD in my stream. Okay. One has been pinned. Nope. Let's do the other one. Right side, wrong side. That's the wrong side. Okay. Matching up the ends, and then I'll match up the middle, and then I'll put two pins in between. In at the end. And now we're going to put a pin in the middle. And two pins on either side. There are no dogs. So sad. Bye-bye, pet cam. Okay. We've got both of those cuffs pinned. We're gonna sew up the sides, and then we're gonna go to the pressing table and fold them in half and press. All right. One down, one to go. Water break. Pin went flying. Luckily on the table, not onto the floor. Okay. Ta-da! All right, to the pressing table. Oops. Oh no, my dog was right behind my chair. Nula, I'm sorry. That probably didn't help your anxiety, did it? Why do you always sit right behind my chair? Come here, sweetheart. It's okay. She's fine. Shake it off, girlfriend. Hi, baby. Okay. So to do this, I'm gonna grab this funny tool. If I can get it out. There we go. This is a sleeve board, and it makes pressing things that are skinny tubes much easier. So I'm just going to put that on there. I just want to press the seam allowance to one side. And then on here, it'll be nice and easy to just fold that down. Oh, this iron gets hot when it's just sitting there. But it's fine. Okay. Now this come down like here. And just gonna match up the bottom edge and then pull it off. And we'll give it a better press around this top edge later, but I'm gonna be able to line up these bottom edges a little bit better when I put it on the actual sleeve. So there's one cuff, and cuff number 2. Get on there. Okay. Once again, we're gonna press it to one side. And then just double it over. Like so. Ah. Cuff has been cuffed. Get this out of the way. Okay, back to the sewing table. Newly Booly, if you could maybe not sit right behind my chair. Here, why don't you sit on this bed? Okay. Oh, stretch. Donut. Mute the mic so I can chew. Okay, we're back. All right. So this is the end of our sleeve. And this is the end of the cuff. So we're gonna have to fit all this fabric in that space. And there is an easy way to do that. Partially because this is stretchy fabric. So we'll be stretching this to fit on this. But I'm also going to be gathering this up. So I'm going to turn this right side out so that we can put this right sides together. And I'm going to put this through here. And get rid of these because they're annoying. Okay. Now we're going to match up these seams with the seam of the sleeve, the side seam, which on the sleeve is really kind of like the underside seam. I'm going to put a pin there. Now I'm going to find the other half point of this. Maybe. Oh, it's being fiddly. I should have probably done this before I put this through here, but oh well. Okay, should be easier now. Right there. I'm gonna mark that with a pen. So I'm gonna basically divide this into quarters, and then I'm gonna divide the cuff into quarters, and I'm gonna match up the quarters. and then squeeze this fabric in between. Maybe I'll pleat it. Who knows? I'll decide. But now I'm gonna find the quarters. So to do that, I can just match up here and here, and then find that half. There's that quarter. And then I can do the other one. Matching it up. I really do need a pet cam on the other side of the room. It's really funny what's happening right now. She is in full, like, dragon rolling around on the floor mode in her thunder jacket, which makes it even funnier. Okay, that was approximately that quarter. Now I will find the halfway point of the cuff. I'm kind of just letting this fabric flop around in between. This is the other halfway, right here. My dog is snorting up a storm over there. If you can hear that, it's pretty funny. All right, here's another quarter. Dogs make the funniest noises. All right, last quarter of the cuff. Basically, I'm matching up those two pins in the middle and then pulling it out to the quarter. Eh. I'm trying to get this fabric to line up a little bit more accurately. Okay, there it is. Right there. All right, now, because I already have one pin in, I'm gonna carefully pull the sleeve back down. Next time I'm gonna mark it before I put this through. That was a bit precarious. Okay. I'm just going to pin on all of those quarter points, matching the quarters up of the sleeve and the cuff. Then I'm gonna decide if I want to do pleats or if I want to just have it gathered up. Kind of hard to decide. I might do pleats though because there's so much fabric. Let's find out if I'm going to be able to stretch the cuff enough. I don't think so. Okay, so I'm trying to stretch the cuff enough to fit this fabric in between, and it's not really happening well. So what I'm going to do is a series of pleats. So I'm just folding the fabric like that, and I'm going to do basically 2 per quarter. I think it's going to be pretty darn cute. The other thing I could do is run a line of gathering stitches around the bottom of the sleeve, but I didn't do that, and I don't have my sewing machine right here, so whatever. I could also potentially use like the gathering function of the serger. I didn't make those pleats very even, so whenever you do them, maybe like that much. That looks good. So whether it's pleats or gathers, it's going to have a similar effect of the sleeve kind of ballooning out above the cuff. So I'm not feeling too partial in either direction, but pleats are just easy because I'm already here. There we go. I'm gonna cut that thread off too. Dog update, she's staring at me and breathing heavily. It's not creepy at all, Nula. Pleat. I wish you would do that on the pet cam. It would be cuter. The people could also watch you be creepy. Border collies. They are persistent and way too intelligent. Okay, we're making pleat progress. One more quarter, and then we're gonna serge this and see what happens. Last pleat. Okay, there we go. We'll try to get a little up close of all the pleats. So on each pleat, that one got a little funky. There we go. So on each pleat, I've basically just folded the inside fabric, tucked it in, and pulled it back over itself. Let's serge that and see what happens. Okay, where to start? Just gonna replin this pleat. Replin it. Again with the inability to speak properly today. I'm gonna push the pins a little deeper, which I don't usually do, but they were bumping into the presser foot on the serger, so just gonna get them kind of out of the way. All right, let's see if this works this time. Wish me luck. Okay, it does feel complicated. Okay. It probably would have been simpler to just use a gathering stitch, but I was too lazy, and so I did things the more complicated way. Yep. It's the sign of a totally well-functioning human being. Self-deprecating psychological humor. Right here. Rook and ribbon, it's part of the brand. Okay, I'm gonna try to bring the camera a little bit in and like down. Yes. Will we stay there? Focus right here. Okay, so basically I'm sewing in a big circle. So the presser foot's down there. By a big circle, I mean a tiny, tiny circle. Let's see what happens. Big on experimenting and seeing what happens with sewing. So close. Where did the general keep his armies? In his sleevey. It's always so fun when you're in chat Scottish mind games. Okay. I think we've successfully sewn in a circle. The only thing I don't love is this little like bloop situation right there. So I'm just gonna serge over that to make it a little more straight. You don't want a lot of weird angles when you're sewing. Did I fix it? I think that's good enough. It's better than it was. Still not great, but whatevs. So I'm trimming these off. What I am gonna do when I switch sewing machines is just come in and like sew some little back and forths here and here to keep that serger stitch from unraveling because you can see it's kind of going off the end there. All right, moment of truth. Let me move my camera back so we can actually see what's going on. Okay, we're gonna pull the cuff down. Oh, look at that cute little pleated bishop sleeve. I loves it. Yeah, I can't wait to try that on. That's really cute. Nice. All right. Cool. Let's do the other side. Do that crazy pleat situation again. So this time, instead of trying to find all the quarter points while it is already stuffed through the cuff, I'm going to just mark them in advance. And I'm going to do that with notches because it's easy. Tiny notches. So that. And if we bring that notch together with the seam, then we can open this up out here and boop. Same on the other side. For the cuff, I'm probably going to mark it with pins because notches might get annoying because there's 2 layers. So yeah, I'm gonna do it with pins. Then it's also really easy to transfer the pin from going through just this to also going through that. Okay, we want the halfway point across from the seam right there. There we go. And we bring those together there. And then we're going to find the quarter points. One more. Oh, I'm so excited to try this on. All right, we've got this divided into quarters. We've got this divided into quarters, not corners. Now we just need to shove this into there and match up those quarters. Okay, let's get rid of these nasty little tails. What's it stuck to? It's stuck on a pin. Get out of here, thread. All right. So we're going to match up the side seam of the sleeve to the seam of the cuff. Is it important to match up all the corners of the circle? Yes. Yes, it is. So many corners. It's actually just made up of infinite corners. So good. All right. Corner number 2 coming up. There it is. That's the corner. That weird little notch. For anybody watching this later, it's the quarter point. I just can't speak. I'm looking forward to corner infinity -1. That would be so many pins, but not as many as infinity. So, does infinity -1 exist? Philosophical questions. All right. I don't think my poor foot would even. That would be so many foot pins. Ouch. Okay, final quarter. Right here. Oh, this was so much easier than trying to divide it into quarters after I already put it together. Can you deduct 1 from infinity? Of course you can. Is it still infinity though? That's my question. Imagine you had a quarter with infinity rooms. That sounds terrifying. That sounds like a nightmare. If you put an out of use sign on rune 1. Okay. But then would it still be infinity? How many are left? Because, like, if infinity is an infinite quantity, you can get different sizes of infinity. Math is crazy. I feel like when you get to, like, the edges, oh, it's Anna! What's up? Anna says infinity ain't a number, though. It's a concept. But yes, there are different sizes of infinity. So cool. Can't be going infinity -1. But, like, it's just slightly smaller infinity. I don't know. Do you guys ever just, like, trip out about, like, the number of stars in the sky? I don't know. Infinity's a trippy concept. Infinite numbers from 0 to bleh. And there are infinite numbers between 0 and 1. Ugh, so many numbers. Infinity hiding in every corner. It is a nightmare. Infinite numbers between 0 and 0.0000001. This got really crazy, you guys. We got real deep with this infinity thing. I'm loving it. Okay, my pleats have kind of gone off the camera, but I've made it through half of the sleeve, 2 quarters. Or as Scottish Mind Games and I were joking, 2 corners, because I can't speak English today. All right. these pleats. The other bit that you might find interesting is that 0.99999 recurring is equal to 1. This suddenly became the trippy math stream. Math is really cool. I think I was going to say this earlier. I don't remember if I said this. I don't remember if I completed this thought, but I do feel like once you get to sort of the farther reaches of math and physics, that there's a lot of crossover with my field of archetypal psychology, where it starts getting into these kind of concepts that are that can be really frightening or beautiful when you ponder them. Frightening or beautiful or both. Okay, 2 more pleats. We're so close, you guys. Ah! Oh man, I have to pick up my cat in 15 minutes. I don't want to go. I want to keep streaming. Meh. I could come back. Possibly. I don't know. What do you two think? Should I just end the stream in 15 minutes and go pick up my cat from the vet? Or should I just pause my stream and just stream into the night like a crazed sewing demon? People struggle, Scottish Mind Games says, people struggle to conceptualize the size of everything and the size of mathematics. Pro streamers have a BRB screen. Oh, wait for it. Does that make me a pro, Anna? I don't know about that, but I do have a BR. Okay, but I made a trying on screen too. Let me show you. I'm very excited about that. Anna says yes, thank you. Wow, extra pro. I should get a name tag that says extra pro. Okay. By the way, Anna, I did wear my dress that I sewed with you watching at least, to my dream stream the other day. It was fun. It's the Pro Max. Oh my gosh. That sounds like it's a paid to participate kind of situation. Anything with the word Max in it. Maybe I'm just saying that because of like HBO Max. I don't know. Anyways. Okay. We're gonna sew this cuff again. Let's go back up here. The serger light is blinding in this camera. Ugh. Okay. Pro Max is an Apple thing. I should know that because I have everything in the Apple universe. I don't have everything, but all the things I have are Apple. All right, I'm sewing. Stay in your lane, Carrie. Stay in your lane. Sew the damn cuff. Okay. Wait, ow! I stabbed myself again. I haven't stabbed myself in like a couple hours now. I was stabbing myself all over the place earlier. All right, we're gonna angle in. Wish me luck! iPhone regular size, iPhone Plus is large size, iPhone Pro is regular size, iPhone Pro Max is the large size. Oh, what do I have? I don't know. I have no idea. And as of today, the iPhone Air. What? Three cameras. Again, with Carrie not being able to speak. Okay, so if I go to like about, this is so irrelevant to my stream right now. We're not gonna do that. It doesn't matter. ADD brain. Ah, yes, Anna says, I haven't looked at today's announcements. The iPhone Air. Apple better pay me. I'm talking about them on my stream. Tangents are the best. Well, you're in the right place because this is Tangent Central over here. Tangent and pets and yeah, sewing, also sewing. All right. Time for the hairstyling tangent again. Tangents are like the corners of the circle that we were matching up. Yes, there's an infinite number of them. So, okay, so Anna, by saying pro streamers have a BRB stream, are you saying that I should go pick my cat up from the vet with a BRB screen on and then just come back and stream more? Should I do that? I could stream into the night. Did I ever wear the chopstick hairstyle again? I'm gonna wear it right now. Okay, let's get some tendrils. I should really finish this cuff. I have to leave in 10 minutes. I think I did try the chopstick again. Should do it for the vet trip. Oh yeah. They've seen me in all sorts of weird states, so this would be, it'd be like, wow, you look so cute. You look less covered in dog hair than usual. Oh, chopstick. That was a single chopstick. I'm impressed. Sturdy chopstick. Okay, there we go. Gotta get the curl tendrils. I need face. It's gotta be more visible from the top. Oh. Did I do it too far back? Okay. The stick. Oh. As I redo everything. Whoops. Okay. If I like weave it through a bunch. Yeah. There we go. Pretty cute. Now I look like a narwhal. You're giving so Disney brave. You would be shocked how often oh dear. What is this? How often I get the brave thing. I think you're supposed to flip the stick halfway through. Oh my god. I need to research this, Anna. I need to research how to be a chopstick pro if I'm going to be a pro streamer. Like the start from the bottom, yeah, and then flip it so it points down. I'm gonna switch back to my sewing camera, and then I'm gonna research this so that next time I'm streaming and you're here, or maybe just next time I'm streaming, I can actually give the people what they want in a better way. Okay. I just want to make it to trying this on. Uh-oh, my pleat got messed up. Don't tell anyone. I just want to try things on before I have to go get my cat. Very attached to trying this on. Start from the bottom. Okay, wait. Wear half done outfit to the vet. Sorry, don't worry about this. Where's my cat? All right, we got that other pleated sleeve done. I think that looks pretty damn cute. I'm gonna try on some shirts for you all, so I'm putting on my try on screen. Okay, my friends, are you ready for shirt number one? I gotta turn off this center stage situation. Okay, it's got the bishop sleeves, which I totally love. They came out super cute. And then this part, good, good, good. I just need to hem it because it's like a mile long. Nobody needs that, but I like it. I think it'll be really cute, like cut, tucked um, in desk. I like that. I like that a lot. Like with a cute fall skirt, like the one I made last week, which is still sitting here because I haven't attached a button to it. Like, can you see it? I can see it. Yes, those corners really worked out. I know. Okay, that's gonna be a cute outfit. I'm gonna try on another shirt. BRB. There we go. All right, good color combo. I agree. I'm not sure about this situation, but maybe it would be cute with jeans. Like, this is basically the result of me, excuse me, camera, running out of one color fabric and deciding to make the sleeves out of the other color. So, I don't know. I don't know about it, but who cares? Um, it might look good with jeans. And wait, that's a single piece. Yes, it is. Yeah, I just made the sleeves out of a different color. So, yeah, could be fun. I'm unsure. I'm unconvinced, but who knows? Sometimes I'm very unconvinced about something and then I end up really loving it. So I'll just have to play with it. Okay, one more shirt to try on, which is going to be the same style as this one, which has tighter sleeves, but it's green because, most of my clothing is green. Where's my button? Trying on, BRB. Okay, so I went for the full tucking it into the pants try on for this one. This one has that ribbed knit going on. Super simple. It's gonna be a nice, cute, tall, basic top, tall. I meant fall. Really can't talk today. Okay, it's 4:28. I'm gonna sit down. There we go. So now is the moment of decision. Do I continue? The alarm is about to go off. Thank you for reminding me. I'm gonna drink some water. So it's tempting. Flip a coin. That's a good idea. Do I have a coin? Uh, hold please. Oh, I could flip a. This is gonna be dumb. I have all these little sewing tags. Tell Siri, flip a coin. I could do that. Or I could flip a tag. I'm gonna do that. All right. This is heads. This is tails. Uh, we're gonna see. Heads is I end the stream. It's not gonna work, says Anna. We're about to find out if it works. Okay. Heads is I just go pick up my cat and then I call it an evening. Tails is I put the BRB screen on. I come back. I sew into the night. Then I feel like crap tomorrow because I've sewn into the night. It's heads. I have to go pick up my cat and end the stream. I'm gonna put on my sun camera so you can see. RIP stream 2025 to 2025. The alarm, it ringeth. My friends, it was good to chat with you both, as always. Face. um, yeah. I'll be back on Thursday for the dream stream at 3 p.m. And then my friend Kirsten and I are going to be doing Sewing After Dark on Thursday evening. And it's going to be so fun. We're going to get really silly. Kirsten's hilarious. So be there. It's going to be a good time. I think that's everything. Bye, my friends. Done.